Right, so now we will be discussing about our next topic, which is the water resources. So we have to remember that Earth is sometimes called the water planet, as 2/3 of the planet's surface is covered with water. The question now is, how is water distributed on the Earth's surface? So first of all, we have oceans. So there are 5 recognized oceans in the world. These are the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and the Southern Ocean. Okay, so for the Pacific Ocean, so the Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. It covers about 1/3 of the global surface, and its area of 166 million square kilometers is larger than the total land area of the world. So the seas that make up the Pacific Ocean are the Arafura Sea, the Banda Sea, Bellingshausen Sea, the Bering Sea, Bering Strait, the Coral Sea, East China Sea, the Gulf of Alaska, the Maxar Strait, Philippine Sea, Ross Sea, Sea of Japan, the Sea of Okhotsk, the South China Sea, Tasman Sea, and other tributary water bodies. Next, we have the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the second largest of the world's oceans, and it includes the Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Caribbean Sea, Davis Strait, Denmark Strait, Drake Passage, Gulf of Mexico, Mediterranean Sea, North Sea, Norwegian Sea, Weddell Sea, and again other tributary water bodies. And then we have the Indian Ocean, which is the third largest ocean. And it includes the Arabian Sea, the Bass Strait, Bay of Bengal, Java Sea, Persian Gulf, Red Sea, Strait of Malacca, Timor Sea, and other tributaries. And then we have the Arctic Ocean, which is the smallest of the world's 4 oceans. And it includes the Baffin Bay, Barents Sea, Beaufort Sea, Chukchi Sea, East Siberian Sea, the Greenland Sea, Hudson Bay, Hudson Strait, Kara Sea, Laptev Sea, and other tributary water bodies. And then finally, we have the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean encircles the continent of the Antarctica and is part or extension of the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and the Indian Ocean. Now we move on to freshwater. So freshwater constitutes around 2.5% of water on the Earth's surface, and it is in the form of ice caps or glaciers, which is 1.8%. Groundwater is only 0.63%, and surface water such as rivers and lakes is just 0.01%. So groundwater is water that seeps into the ground and fills up the ocean open spaces and rocks. So it also fills up sediments and soil beneath the Earth's surface. So we have what we call as the zone of saturation. So the zone where all pore spaces are filled with water is known as the zone of saturation. The zone where pore spaces contain air and water is called the zone of aeration. And the surface that separates the two zones is known as the water table. Okay, so actually, if you dig into the zone of aeration, you will not find water. But if you dig further into the zone of saturation, you have dug a well. The level of water in the well is at the level of the water table. If the well is a pipe in the ground, the water can be pumped to the surface. If the groundwater is under pressure, water may reach the surface when drilled due to its own pressure. So we have what we call as artesian wells, as you can see in the picture. Artesian wells work on the premise that water rises to the surface due to natural pressure. Okay, so we have to take note as well that groundwater movement is very slow. Actually, it flows about 4 centimeters a day. And the rate of movement depends on the porosity and permeability. So when we say porosity, this refers to the volume percentage of open spaces called pores. And when we say permeability, this is the ability of solid materials like rocks to transmit water through the pore network. Okay, so whenever water table intersects the land surface, a natural flow of groundwater is formed. So this is called spring. A hot spring, on the other hand, is formed when hot groundwater flows to the surface. Next, we have running water. So, surface water that moves from higher area to lower area due to gravity is referred to as running water. And the flow in channels may be described as stream and river. So, the floor of the channel is called the bed, and the sides of the channel are called the banks. So, we have stream. So a stream refers to all water flowing into the channel or into a channel regardless of the stream's size. A river is a large stream that comes from smaller streams called tributaries. River flows toward an ocean, a sea, a lake, or another river. As you can see here, the picture shows the flow of water. So you see at the upper portion of the picture, you have the source known as the headwater. So that's the start of the stream and river. And eventually, again, remember that it should be from higher ground to lower ground. So as it goes to the lower ground, you can see that streams and rivers are formed. And also there are what we call as tributaries, which are just small streams. So you can also see in the picture the bank, which is again, like what I said, the sides of the channel. And also you can see the mouth where the stream or the river ends. Okay, so next we have a lake. So a lake is a large inland body of standing water, and it occupies a depression on the land surface. Water from lake usually comes from streams, but some are formed by glaciers. Flowing ice erodes land surface, causing depressions which are then filled by water. Other lakes are formed when a volcanic eruption creates a crater which is then filled with water. So the picture that you see here on the slide is the most known lake here in the Philippines, which is the Laguna Lake. Okay, so in the Philippines, there are 5 principal river basins. So we have the Cagayan River in the northern Luzon, which was very controversial during the past few weeks because of the flooding that it caused to the Isabela region. We also have, so that is in northern Luzon. So we also have the Mindanao River and also the Agusan River, which are both found in Mindanao, and the Pampanga River and the Agno River, which are located in Central Luzon. So groundwater reservoirs are found in Cagayan, Central Luzon, Agusan, and Cotabato, among others. So now we move on to the water use and management. So the Philippines obtains its water supply from different sources. So we get it from rainfall, from surface water like river and lakes, and also from groundwater. So the use of water in the Philippines may fall among the following categories. First one is domestic. So when we say domestic use, it means that we use water for drinking, cooking, bathing, washing, and other household needs. Like we also use it for gardening and also in animal husbandry. When we say agriculture, it means that water is used for the irrigation for producing crops. It can also be used as power generation. So in this case, water is used to produce electrical or mechanical power. It can also be used industrially, wherein in this case, producing consumers industrial products. Next, we have aquaculture, so propagating fishes, shrimps, crabs, and other aquaculture organisms for commercial purpose. And we also have livestock raising, wherein water is used in raising herds or flocks of animals for commercial purpose. Okay, so next we have, the question now is, even though we have like different water sources, the question is, why is there water scarcity? Why is there like why is the demand for water still exceeds the available supply? So we have to remember that an important aspect of water scarcity is water quality. And water quality may be described in terms of the pollutants present in water. So pollution is the reduction of the quality of water. Farming, forest clearing, road building, mining, to produce soil particulates that, when added to water, make water turbid, bury aquatic habitats, and degrade water quality. So there are also other activities such as bathing, washing, and use of fertilizers in crops release phosphate and nitrate to bodies of water. So phosphates and nitrates stimulate excessive plant growth, leading to an algal bloom. And this actually creates competition and result in the death of plants. When these plants decompose, the dissolved oxygen in water is reduced. Um, this low level of oxygen in water results to fish kill. Industrial processes and mining may produce toxic byproducts and waste in the form of acids, bases, salts, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, nickel, lead, and zinc. So those factors that I have mentioned all contribute to the quality of water. So with a continuously growing population, the demand for water exceeds what is available. It is therefore everybody's responsibility to conserve and protect water resources. So we have actually a law to help us or to guide us in conserving our water resources, and this is the RA 9275, which is known as the Clean Water Act of 2004. So this law it provides a comprehensive water quality management of all bodies of water, and it primarily applies to the abatement and control of pollution from land-based sources like industrial and commercial establishments, waste from agriculture, and community or household activities. It also mandates the protection and preservation and revival of the quality of fresh, brackish, and marine waters.